Priču o ljubavi i smrti u raskalašnom svijetu pariških boema i o Puccinijevoj operi priča nam Anton Tomasini iz New York Timesa.
This one was sent in to me by William E. Wallace. William Wallace said in his note to me that he knows it's banal, it's not really musical, but when Rodolfo starts crying, Mimi, when he realizes Mimi has died, it just makes him sob. Well, we are fellow Puccini lovers, and I would say it's not at all banal, and it's very musical, actually, what's going on. Mimi, who has tuberculosis, comes back to the garret where Rodolfo, her boyfriend, lives with his bohemian friends to die with him. But we've heard this theme before, a little bit earlier in the act. When she first shows up, the Bohemians, take care of her, and she lies down, and she appears to fall asleep. And she sings that melody in a different key. She's telling him, I was only pretending to be asleep because I wanted to be alone with you. I wanted other people to leave because I have so much to tell you. So later on in the act, when the orchestra starts blaring this theme, the orchestra is telling us she's not pretending anymore. He shouts, Mimi! The opera ends. These are the chords you often don't hear because everybody's applauding as the curtain comes down. But now that is one of my moments. Where does that come from? Have we heard that before? Well, it comes from the oddest place. Earlier in this act, all the Bohemians who have no money realize that they have to help Mimi. They have to get some food, they have to get some medicine. They sell whatever they have. Colina, the philosopher, the only thing he has is an overcoat. So before he sells it, he sings a little farewell to it. He's a bass, sings very low, and that ends like this. So there it is. You recognize? That's the way the whole opera ends. So why are we hearing the ending of the coat aria again? Well, where have we heard that before? Well, in Act 1, every time you hear this, it's the theme of the Café Momus, the hangout of the Bohemians. So in a way, Colina, what he's saying goodbye to is this whole Bohemian life, the whole life represented by the café. Because the moral of Bohème is that it's one thing to be carefree and bohemian and wear each other's clothes and spend each other's money, when you're young and healthy. But when you're young and facing a terminal illness, that's an adult problem. You have to grow up. And we know that's happened at the end. It was one of my moments.
Good morning, Trina.
It's been a really good year for movies. It's been a record year at the box office, and it's been a good year for the kind of movies that people think of as Oscar caliber. The Academy that gives out the Oscars typically goes for these big historical movies or epics about a hero, but this year there's a lot of newsy movies. I mean, we're seeing some of the Oscar candidates being discussed in the halls of Congress, which is not something that we usually see with Zero Dark 30. And Argo, this political thriller about 1970s Iran, has a lot of resonance with what's going on in the Middle East today.
There are only bad options. It's about finding the best one.
One thing that's come up a lot this year with all these movies based on real life is the tension between fact and fiction. What is the responsibility of the filmmaker to tell a story that is true versus telling a story that's entertaining and gets people in seats?
He is one of the disappeared ones.
One thing that we're seeing a lot of is big ideas from all of these directors. You've got Life of Pi, which is, a movie that many people thought might have been unfilmable because it's entirely digital. It's got two characters and one of them is a digital tiger. Les Mis, a movie where people just sing the entire time, singing live. Not an easy thing to do. Even though we might not know who's going to win Best Picture, there are clear favorites in some of the acting categories. You cannot overlook Daniel Day-Lewis as Lincoln. I mean, he really inhabits the 16th president in a way that seems to have wowed everybody. For actresses, people have been talking all season long about Jennifer Lawrence in Silver Linings Playbook, playing a tough part, a woman who's unstable and has to do a dance number. Those are not two things that normally go together.
She's fine.
It's probably too soon to make any predictions about who's going to win for your Oscar pool, but keep reading The Carpetbagger, keep watching, and we will figure it out.
I'll be out back. I'm going to find a tree to chop down.